I've been using the GMMK Pro as my main and only keyboard for the last year, and today we'll take a look at how it held up and whether it's worth it in the long run. How's it going, everyone? I'm Lazerk and this is the GMMK Pro. I bought the keyboard bare bones, which means I did not have any switches and keycaps, which I had to order separately. I decided to go with glorious Gateron Blacks, linear switches with 50-gram actuation force. They're okay, I have no complaints when it comes to how the switches feel, especially for the price point, which is pretty good. As for the keycaps, I've picked up Black Ash from Glorious as I really wanted to do a minimalist look with the keyboard. And I think it looks really good. The grey on black is stylish and keeps the whole build clean. There is one thing I don't like about the keycaps, however. When you use them in a poorly lit room in the night and the only source of light is your monitor, it's almost impossible to read out the legends on the keycaps. First, you have the RGB backlight illuminating the whole keyboard, so your eyes need to adjust to the bright light. Second is a kind of gloss or bloom effect from the light reflecting off the keycaps. This makes the legends almost unreadable because they're black and they blend with the keycap. I think going with a white print for the legends would have been a much better choice. While I'm complaining, let me just mention one more thing and we'll move on to good stuff with the keyboard. I don't like how the LED lights are positioned. I feel like when I turn it all the way to the max brightness, they shine directly into my eyes. I don't know whether it's the design of the PCB or how the keycaps are mounted, but I really had to tone down the brightness to make it less distracting. Okay, moving on to good things now. The keyboard looks almost as good as on day one. The paint isn't flaking off. It's quite durable actually. I didn't intentionally try to damage the keyboard, but I also wasn't especially cautious around it. A couple of times while playing, I fit it with my mouse and my daughter had spent some time with it mashing the buttons and everything is fine. So from durability perspective, no complaints. Same for the LED lights. All is well, nothing stopped working and the illumination is just as good as on day one. One complaint I have here is that in order to get more RGB light options, you need to do a firmware update, which this was available from day zero as Mac users can download and install Glorious app to do the firmware update. When I first bought the keyboard, it had some issues with some of the keys being sticky due to the excessive amount of lubricant used for the stabs, and it really was prominent on the Shift and Enter. It was a known issue, but I'm happy to say that over time it just fixes itself as continuous use and time help with that. I haven't made any modifications to the keyboard apart from lubricating the switches to make them smoother, but the typing experience with the keyboard is really pleasant. It's good for both bursty typing and longer typing sessions and doesn't cause too much fatigue. I use it for my daily work but also for gaming. For both of those scenarios, the keyboard is really good. One more thing before we summarize, the knob. I was really excited to find some cool use for it. But honestly, I just use it as a volume dial. And I think that the knob is a bit overhyped, especially if you don't have any specific thing in mind that you want to do with it. And for gaming, well, being able to change the volume is cool, but let's be honest, it's not a game changer. So what's the verdict? How does the glorious GMMK Pro hold up after 1 year? I have to say it's great and holds up really well. It's a sturdy, well-made product which will serve you for many years. Just remember to choose the right keycaps and switches, ones that suit your preferences, and you'll be happy. And when you're not, it's very easy to get them replaced since this is a hot swappable keyboard. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you soon.